Hi everyone, in this video I'll be talking about how to deal with IT recruitment agencies. So if you are new to consulting or if you are starting a career, you notice that some agencies reach out to you directly on LinkedIn. And to be honest, if you don't have a LinkedIn, you should jump on it right now because that's the main platform to do business. And personally, most of my contracts came because of contacts that I made on LinkedIn. So jump on that if you don't have that already. But in order to get started, you must start adding recruiters. When you go to the LinkedIn homepage, type in IT recruiter, recruitment agency, headhunter, and add a bunch of people, especially when you're starting your profile. Don't add a lot of people right away. Like, don't go crazy with it because LinkedIn might actually stop you and ban you. Um Worst case ban you, of course, but they will send you a warning or two warnings and say, hey, you added a lot of people, you gotta cool it down a little bit and you won't be able to add more people for a while.
Experiments.
So be careful with that, don't abuse it, of course. Now that's done. When you add a bunch of IT recruiters or headhunters into your profile, you can start a conversation with some of them. With time, they will start contacting you directly. So if you have your profile full like of keywords related, of course, to what you do on a daily basis or what you even want to do, so provide your input, provide your experience, make it all organized in a nice way, then you're gonna catch a lot of attention eventually.
Hello.
But in the beginning, start the conversation. You have to reach out to as many people as possible. Tell them that you are looking to jump into IT consulting, or you are a consultant already and you're looking for a new contract and stuff like this. Now, a few things that you need to be aware of when it comes to IT um, recruitment agencies. That's for my experience. Most of the time, those agencies, especially the big ones, they are looking for hours. So the best thing for you, like when you're starting to develop your business, your IT consulting business, is to have several clients at the same time while you are working on different projects. And this way, of course, you're making more money, but at the same time, you're also lowering your risk. So that's a basic risk management where you don't have to rely on one customer for cash flow because that client, they might terminate the contract tomorrow. You don't have a job security, right? Unless you put it in a contract, but that's something for another video.
Smart move.
Most of these agencies are looking for somebody that's gonna be doing full-time hours. So if you speak with them, you're gonna notice that if you say like, oh, I'm looking for something part-time, they're gonna say yes, we'll check with the client and everything, but most probably they're gonna give you the boot. So that said, I did meet a few recruiters, and one of them actually I speak with him almost on a bi-weekly or monthly basis, just that we keep in touch, and he tells me what options he has. He still does some things that I know like agencies do anyways, but I feel most comfortable with him, especially that I did have a 2-year contract with that agency before. Now that we're talking about contracts, make sure you read what you're signing. A lot of agencies, especially the smaller or medium business companies, they're gonna ask you to sign on something that doesn't make a lot of sense. And I actually lost a nice contract that I thought that I knew I was gonna ace it, and it was related like to firewall security rules optimization, something like that, if I remember correctly. I had to decline the contract, and even though the agency told me, "Hey, the client wants you, let's go, let's roll." Well, come on. I read the contract. They sent it to me first of all, and there were a bunch of things that they didn't make sense. I don't remember everything, but what I do remember was the last paragraph saying that we basically sat down together and we wrote the contract together.
Very funny.
I did a bunch of edits, like I said, like this doesn't make sense. I would like this to be modified, blah blah. Negotiation. They got back to me and saying that this is the contract that everybody signs, and just sign it. Like they cannot do any modifications because this is what they have as a contract. So I respectfully declined and moved on. Needless to say, that person never contacted me again, but that's something I'm willing to lose, right? Because the last thing you want as an IT consultant, especially when you are incorporated, You don't want to get a contract that might get you $10,000, $20,000 or even more, but then you expose yourself to something that not even your insurance company is going to help you because you signed on it and you agreed to certain things that you shouldn't have agreed on. So you are liable, and then you end up paying more or going to court and wasting all this time. Don't look short term. That's something that I have an issue with a lot of people. Everybody thinks short term. Nobody thinks into the future, to the long term. How things could happen, how could things improve for their lives and everything. So that's another thing that you have to be aware of. Read what you are signing. So now I talked about these 2 points, or actually a few points right now. I hope this has been informative. And if you are interested, please subscribe and like this video. I'm gonna create a whole series about IT consulting and eventually a course to contain all this information that I'm talking about right now. That said, let's continue. What other things did I see? I've been like in consulting for 8 years, 9 years so far, and these are the things that I've noticed. Basically, you wanna keep a close relationship to your client because at the end of the day, everybody's nice, but everybody's looking after their own business. So keep a close relationship with the client because if at some point the agency is trying to do something that doesn't make sense, uh, and they will do that at some point. They will go behind your back. They will say something. Not everybody's like that. There's good and bad, right? There are good people and bad people, and some people think good business is actually good, like bad business, or you know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, let's move forward. If you know the client, if you know what's going on, then it's going to be harder for these people to pull some stunts like that. And again, not everybody's like that, but you're going to see a bad apple here or there. And one perfect example of that is a person that I worked with that he's a consultant, he had to go to his home country for a funeral. Like it was one of his parents that passed away. He had to go for the funeral and he had to take care of a few things. And then he received a message that the client caught him, like they terminated his contract, which to him didn't make sense because personally I've worked with that guy and he's a freaking genius at what he does. Like he's very technical. He's a great guy overall, and personality wise, everything. I could understand why he was shocked, right? So when he came back, he got another contract right away because it's not an issue. But what happened is a few years later, he applied to the same uh, client, like as a consultant. And during the interview process, they told him, "Well, we just want to ask you, why are you coming back to us?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" They were like, "Well, you left us." So it turns out that the agency told the client that this guy is leaving because they want to get somebody, probably, I don't know, they want to get somebody right away to work on the contract. They don't want to deal with somebody who is sad because of losing one of his parents. Yeah. And they told the guy that the client caught him. So something to keep in mind, keep a close relationship with the client to know what's going on. And that's something that helped me more than once because I knew what was being planned from upper management. I knew what to do. And another story, like I worked with a certain company, and the director was also like he was a great guy. I I called him like a president. I called him Jacques Chirac just because he had this, you know, uh, presence of him that was, to me it was presidential, and the way he spoke, also his accent in French, it was like a really like formal presidential way, and he projected that kind of uh, respect, if you want to say. So I spoke with him, and after some time, I realized that, hey, my contract, like nothing's happening project wise, what's going on? There are going to be changes. So he gave me his word that I can look for something else and end my contract. But if I don't find something else, then he's willing to finish the contract and let me bill normally until the end of the contract. With big changes in the company, he actually made sure that his word was respected. I knew like somebody was below him. He was also a good guy, but we had our differences. He was on management level, but he kind of mentioned at some point, well, you know, like things are tough. You might lose your contract next day. in a way or another, right? That didn't happen, and I think it was mainly because of that director. Now, that guy, the director, Jacques Chirac, doesn't know how much I respected that. I think I mentioned it once or twice, but I would truly like help him with anything if he needed in the career, like just because of what he did for me, because that's the kind of people that I would like to have a close relationship with. Why am I telling you all of this? This is again to show you that it's important to keep a close relationship to your client, with your client, in order to avoid some agencies that might do something bad, and that's bad business for them because eventually they're gonna stink in the market, but it is what it is. Now, other things that I could think of for for right now, I told you like you have to reach out to a lot of people, a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn, add them, start a conversation, see who is more friendly, who's more committed to. Of course, they want to do their job, right? They want to find you a contract, but you will see more people are more um, motivated to help. You're not just a number for them. So these are the kind of people that you want to keep a relationship with and keep in contact. Even though you have a contract right now and you're working, that's the kind of people that would help you in the future. And also, you might end up helping them somehow. You might give them a referral that would help them with work. This is great because you want to help people and you want people to help you. This is reciprocity. I think that's the word. So we'll just go on with it, and hopefully that's gonna be the right word. I think I gave you most of the things that I am thinking of right now. I will definitely create another video. I'll call it like part two of what to expect from uh, dealing with IT agencies, IT recruitment agencies. But so far, I hope that you enjoyed this video. This is already pushing 40 minutes, so with the editing, it's probably going to be 10 minutes or so. I hope that you found this video informative, and if you liked it, please consider subscribing and liking, and look at the other videos in the same playlist. I'm going to try to organize everything within groups or within playlists just because I like IT. I like to talk about tech. I like to talk about IT consulting. People helped me before. And hey, if I end up helping somebody, even if I don't become like super famous on YouTube, I'll end up like at least helping one or two people, persons along their journey. Take care. This is frustrating. Hey, I'm learning. Okay, reciprocity. Recip- recip- recip-